I'm going to try these headphones out today and record doing a small video and see how this turns out. Anyway, freezing cold here in southern Manitoba in Canada. Whew, I decided I'd record a little something even though my shop is not heated right now. It's about minus, I'd say about 20 here currently. Got a couple layers on. I'm going to show everybody how to orient a spoon. Stick around. Stick around? Who the hell says that? It is important to remember that every spoon is different. There's a different purpose for every spoon. So it's all based off of what kind of wood and the blank sizes that you have and the spoons that you're creating and how to dictate kind of orienting them. Personally, I try to maximize each and every blank that I have so that I can get the longer pieces and chunks of wood. That way, having more selection for sort of more prized cooking spoons that are more used in kitchens and things like that. But I don't like any wood going to waste, so there's always all kinds of little smaller blanks that you can cut out. And of course, those smaller blanks become eating spoons and scoops and things like that, smaller spoons. Again, hate seeing it go to waste. There's enough byproduct of wood chips, bark, all kinds of stuff that we create as carvers. So because you're doing that, there's always stuff to burn. But within there, even in the smaller pieces, you can really find some spoons and great spoon shapes. So the second thing is, well, how do you go ahead and sort of put your spoon, your style, the form that you'd like on the wood, and then carving is just other steps after that. Well, there's a lot of sort of schools of thought as to what you can do when it comes to that type of thing. You can go freehand, completely freehand. There are carvers out there that will just axe out a spoon based off of their knowledge and memory of the shape without drawing anything. And then whatever they come up with, they will then draw out a spoon within the shape that they have and then go ahead and carve that out. And that's a totally different method. And then some people like to, like myself, sort of form the spoon blank, do the general shape that I'm kind of looking for. In this case, this is going to be more of a Swedish pocket spoon. It's got the general shape of a pocket spoon anyway. So I'm going to give it a try, and this is spalted birch. So that being said, for what I like to do in terms of getting my spoons drawn on here, I go for a mixture of things, a couple things being just complete freehand. I'll tell you, I've never tried the method of just axing out completely and then drawing on afterwards. I could probably give it a whirl, but I kind of like to see sort of where I'm at kind of thing. So I tend to draw, you know. So for me, some people will use templates. It's sort of a predetermined spoon shape they will sort of put on the spoon itself and then just trace around it and then go ahead and axe it out. And then, like I said, some people are freehand, do things more by eye. For myself, I play back and forth. So what I will do is I'll have, instead of a full spoon or something like that, I'll have like more of a bowl shape, a spoon template, so to speak. And I'll have a couple of them being just the classic ones that I thoroughly enjoy kind of thing. And what I'll do is I will actually just take the bowl and orient it where I want it. And then the handle and everything is secondary. That just comes afterwards kind of thing. Now, typically, given the wood and the size, like I was saying, I will use a template and, you know, kind of go for it most of the time because I like to have a very nice symmetrical bowl. Asymmetrical I enjoy, but I like purposely being asymmetrical and not having something else dictate that. So with smaller ones, I tend to kind of don't have enough room for a template, so I'm just drawing things on. So for this one, in this case, let's see here. I was considering, this is a pocket spoon, by the way. So, I mean, again, it's very small, can fit in your pocket, hence pocket spoon. So I don't want to make it too large or anything like that. And I typically gravitate towards this kind of bowl shape. So where do you put it? Where do you draw the bowl? Well, depending on how you've axed it out, and you can see on the side there, you can actually make it so this part here of the crank itself, and this is the crank of the bowl in relation to the handle, you can make this part of the handle and then have the bowl purely just on this side. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a classic, after you carve it, shape of a spoon. For myself personally, I like to actually have the crank a little bit up the bowl a bit. It's like a quarter of an inch kind of thing, like really tiny. Just yeah, you know what, in this case, probably about half an inch. But as you can see, sorry, my glove's in the way. It's pretty cold out here. I'd take my gloves off. The bowl kind of creeps up the crank a little bit here. And then how I carve that is I will actually get rid of the L that is being left here, kind of thing, carve underneath it and make it more of a smoother transition for the bowl itself. It gives a bowl shape, you know, just really nice design, as well as you still have the rest of the handle here and the flow of the rest of the handle going to the back. That'll be no more ergonomical for the hand, so to speak. Now again, you, the carver, or person who's learning to carve, can do anything you want. There literally are no rules when it comes to spoon carving, although some may make you believe that there are. There's guidelines that help you get more for less, and help you not to expel so much energy within your body so that you're totally burned out and perhaps having an unenjoyable time. But for the most part, you can do anything you want. So for myself, this is how I'm going to do it. A carving friend out in Germany ended up sending me a Faber-Castell pencil. This is what they use typically in bars, pubs, tap houses, and things like that in Germany, and they can be used in wet paper and wet conditions, so nothing smears or gets missed or lost. So I had a friend, George Schult, carver in Germany. He sent this to me on a trade we had. And I've never looked back. This is one of the best things that I've ever used in terms of marking something on a spoon. So if you have the ability to order a couple of these offline or go to your local art store, they should have something like this. And it's just unbelievable. You can use other things like, you know, if you have a pen, use a pen. If you have pencil, just a regular pencil, it's okay. Pens as well too, if you want to, or a marker. It really doesn't matter. Some people think that the marker bleeds into the wood, it's going to cause an issue and leave marks. I've used marker tons of times and I've just carved all of that off. So I've never really had an issue. So this one, I'm going to actually be using the pencil. All right. Now, some people just go for it. I like to try to find sort of just my center area, you know, and I'm using these two parts of my finger here to sort of just run down the side of the spoon blank itself, just kind of keeping it more or less, you know, straight. But while that's happening, I'm placing the pencil in the center, and it's actually just sort of roughly drawn the center. It doesn't need to be exact. If you have a carving eye, you'll know when and where to carve on which side. So if it is a little bit wonky or something like that, it really doesn't matter. So yeah, let's go for it. Just kind of straight. And then just same thing, just hold your hand straight here. There's really nothing fancy about it. And straight on through. See, the line's not even perfect, but it doesn't have to be. You get the general gist, the idea. All right, so now that being said, I'm going to use this guy, and typically I'll do this. Sometimes I do a reverse bowl as well too, which is just, a lot of the times a spoon will orient classic egg form. The tip of the egg kind of thing will be the tip of the spoon. That's just the general style that we have. But when you flip it over, it's called reverse bowl kind of thing. So I wasn't expecting to do that. Actually, I don't think I've ever done a reverse bowl with this bowl on this type of thing. And I've got the perfect, sort of perfect amount of wood. So guess what we're doing? All right. I think that's how much bowl I want. Let's try to max out a little bit more and bring it down. This is, you can be as finicky as you want to at this point, because this is essentially going to be the actual bowl itself. Now, even though this shape is the shape that I've cut out in plastic, I definitely know that I will be taking the bowl size down as I carve it. There'll be a lot of material that'll be coming off. So for example, you know, I kind of came over a little bit here and it's kind of missing. Well, the whole bowl shape is going to be going down by, you know, centimeters kind of thing. So the bowl is actually going to be smaller than what's actually here itself, and I'll be able to round it off, and you can see that later. But that gives you the orientation of the actual bowl. Now comes the handle. Well, when it comes to the handle itself, you can do, again, literally anything you want. No holds barred. You do what you want to do. For me, when I first started, it was more like a triangle kind of thing. You'd start off wide at the tip here, at the butt of the handle, and then I'd sort of come down, getting a little bit thinner as I go. And then I would smooth off the handle itself and not make it look so pointy or anything like that. While I didn't mind that shape, it kind of doesn't do much in terms of a spoon for overall kind of flow state of the shape of the spoon and the comfortability of it and how it fits in your hand and ergonomics. It was just very plain Jane. So as you sort of progress, start to play with a little bit more shape and things like that. Best is always to find the center point at the butt of the handle. And for me, I have a kind of a general template of a spoon handle. And what I'll do is I kind of just incorporate it somehow or another, because I just like the overall general shape of it. I like the sort of pyramid style at the end there. It's, you know, not too much or over the top. It's just enough. And I enjoy the way it tapers down thinner as well too. So with this, obviously it's going off the bowl. So I'd like to get it back on. So this is way over, but you know what? This is what I want to do. So again, some people, they don't enjoy pocket spoons because they feel some of them are a little bit small and stubby, and you know, spoons are supposed to be a little bit more elegant, longer, easier to use in the hand, easy for eating soup, all that kind of stuff. For me, like I said, anything goes, whatever you feel. So I'm going to do this. And also I'm going to be taking the shape of the handle down as well too, so I'm not worried about it if there's excess or it looks fat or chunky or anything like that. You know what? I'm wrong. I have done spoons like this with the reverse bowl. So there it is. Now, what I'm going to do is axe this out. That'll be in a separate video. But I'd like to stress on one thing that I don't do, and this is totally up to the carver or yourself. A lot of people will go ahead and they will draw their side profile sort of on and what they're looking for in the shape. I have never done that. I don't do that at all, because to me, I've already axed out kind of the side profile. I don't really need to show myself where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is make sure that the bird's eye view, while I'm looking down on it, I'm going to axe out this to the best of my ability, giving me the best shape here. And the remainder of the spoon will be dictated by that. So you just have to, based off of your knowledge of what a spoon looks and feels like, just start carving and taking it down until you get what you get. So I don't personally do this unless I'm doing something very specific, or kuksa, I will try to do something along the side to give myself the orientation. But for spoons, I don't do side profiles. I've already cut it out with the axe, so I'm fine with just the top profile and going from there. Thanks for coming around. Thanks for coming around. Does anybody even say that on YouTube? Thanks for coming around. Yeah, hey, thanks for stopping by, everybody. Hope everyone had an amazing holiday. Thanks for tuning in to an extremely cold, extremely in southern Manitoba. And I'll see you in the next video where we're going to axe this guy out, and then we're going to get into the actual carving. Take care.